Welcome back to the Feuding Bros. And today, let's talk about City a little quick, man. Let's talk about City because, wow, how the mighty has fallen. That is, I don't even know how to explain that. I mean, have you ever seen a champion fall so low? And what is it now? What is it? Is it like one win in 10 or one win in 11?
12.
It is.
In 11,
It is.
yeah.
It is a slump in stratospheric. What's the word? Stratospheric proportions. Come on, man. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, we were just waiting, and every week we like, okay, yeah, City is gonna come back. It's City, man. They always come back. They always go through a little slump, and then they come back. They always go through a little slump, but then they come back. And once they come back, it's gonna be like a train. Like you're just gonna go and just gonna pummel everybody and just go and just go and get the points. It has not materialized to the point where there are. Where are they now? They're like fifth, right? Or sixth?
Fifth. Yeah,
Sixth.
even
And
sixth.
let's talk a little bit about City, man. What has happened to them, and is it over for them? Is it over? Can we safely say that it's over for them when it comes to the league?
Yeah, I think this season is over for them for this season. I think obviously they will come back next season and be better, but they just don't, unless they go in January and buy a bunch of players. I just don't see them like fixing these issues with the way they want to play, because we know Guardiola is never going to change and start playing like conservative football and stuff like that. He's not gonna change and start playing on the counter and stuff like that. So with the way they want to play right now, these players for some reason just cannot do it anymore. I don't know if legs have gone, if I don't know, they lack motivation or whatever it is. But this is not just a Rodri problem. This is not just we're missing, although he is right now apparently the best player in the world. This is not just we're missing the best player in the world problem. Like, you cannot go from being a team that could just beat anybody, even in like third, like second, first gear, could just turn up and beat anybody, to a team that just cannot win. And I genuinely don't see them beating anybody relevant. Like, there will be the Wolves and the Leicesters and the teams like that. But like, when it comes to like any half decent team, like, they will just get destroyed. Like, that's just what it is. They just cannot handle it at the moment. So, yeah, I think they're done for this season. I think they'll struggle to make top four. Unless
struggle to make top four.
I think they struggle to make top four. Yeah, I think they struggle to make top four. Again, that's the caveat is, can they? Because I think they're the only team that them and Liverpool that have money right now, because they've sold very well in the last 2 or 3 years. So, will they go out and get 2, 3, maybe even 4 players in January, and that will change their season? Maybe. But if not, they struggle to make top 4 because they can't beat anyone. And it's not like they're dominating and losing games. They're getting destroyed every game, well beaten. So I don't see what's gonna change for them. Yeah. I really don't.
This game against Villa was a great testament of that. We saw it coming a little bit with Man United against City, the way they kind of got flat after they scored the first goal. But against Villa this time around, like, they had nothing. Like, the midfield was completely over.
Just overrun. This little kid Rodgers, man, just walking through them.
Bro, It was terrifying them in the midfield. He was just running through, handling the ball like it's practice time. Like, it was too easy. It was embarrassing for City, And, that's the thing with them. I won't be quick to say, okay, I don't see them anywhere by the end of the season or whatnot, because there was no way to predict from what they did last year going over the summer and they come back like this. There's just nobody that saw that coming. So I just don't know what's going to happen within the next, even just 2 months with this team. But it definitely looks terrible for them at the moment. It doesn't seem like Guardiola has the answers. Besides, we're waiting on players to come back. When you count them, it's like 3 players in total, pretty much. So, as Thierry said, they're definitely going to have to go into the winter window. Yes, they sold well during the summer, but I feel like they sold too much. I think that's what's killing them right now. All the youth, the great youth they had, like the Alvarez signing was freaking surprising to me. The Cole Palmer signing was freaking surprising to me. I felt like Guardiola thought, oh yeah, don't worry, we are the best team anyway. We can afford to lose anybody. But then in doing that, you kind of broke the succession and replacement of players that was going on internally. So now you have to go into the market. So I feel like that's costing them a lot right now. Not having alternative to Haaland, to Rodri, to Kyle Walker, for example. This is killing them. And it's looking.
And it's not just last summer. The summer before that, again, who did they buy? Like they barely bought anybody. They bought it was like Nunez, Doku. You know, they're not replacing the big players like the players that were like the Mahrez and the stuff.
Mahrez, Alvarez, Cole Palmer. They're not replacing these guys.
They haven't replaced any of those big names that left, and that left at the right time. It was the right time for them to leave. Mm-hmm. But then you bring those new people, and I don't know if they've maybe if that's the case that they thought, oh, we're just the best anyway. We can we'll be fine. I don't know if it's that or if it's a case maybe they wanted to bring some money. Maybe they had trouble with the books. I don't know what the issue was, but like they're just the last 2, maybe even 3 transfer windows in the summer. They haven't really done anything. They let big players go. They don't bring players as good or close to being as good to replace them. And they let the young players go as well. Morgan Rogers is from City. So Cole Palmer, obviously. They let a lot of players go and just no replacement. So it's not just like maybe obviously nobody saw it coming, but it's a problem that has been going kind of coming for a few seasons now. But obviously now we're seeing that it's really a big problem. But at the time
it's really obvious right now. But I think they also did not legislate for the fall off of a lot of players in that team as well. Because you couldn't imagine that Gundogan was going to come back and be this bad. You couldn't imagine. He looks like he's got no legs anymore. You know what I mean? You couldn't imagine Foden, after being the best player in the league last year, to just be a shadow of himself right now.
The Foden soccer debate is done for now, right?
That's it. Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, Kyle Walker, we saw it coming, so they missed the trick there, replacing him. But even players like a Kenji was monstrous last year. He's nowhere to be seen. Ake is always in and out, always injured. Diaz as well. Even the keeper, Edison, a lot of mistakes. I think Ortega is better than him right now.
He's better than Edison. We've been saying that for a while, actually.
Yeah. And then the big one, Haaland. Haaland hasn't scored in how many games? You know what I mean? It started like a house on fire, but I mean, I think this is like one of the longest run is going without scoring a goal or without scoring at the rate that he was scoring. I think maybe he scored like 1 or 2 goals in between here and there, but nothing to be like when you speak about Haaland, you're talking at least like a goal a game, like kind of rate. But it's nowhere near that right now. Doku we talked about benched. Grealish comes in, he's not doing anything. Savinho, the big signing, he's just like Anthony 2.0, man. Just a lot of legs, a lot of running around, but just no end product. I think that they also did not legislate for the fall of some of these big players in that team, as well as like you guys said, the lack of signing. But I mean, it is always hard. It's like at the World Cup. That's why there's this curse of the winner at the World Cup, because when you win the World Cup, it's hard to replace those players who won the World Cup. In 4 years' time, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit like that. I think that's what's happening. It's hard to replace these players that's won it for you, for so long. And I know you want to refresh, but I mean, it's kind of hard. And that's when, like you said, Thierry, that's when you see where Guardiola, what is made of, and how does it deal with this situation? Because right now he's looking peak for them. He's looking dire, man. I mean, like you said, I don't even see where they can find a win. Looking at this game against Villa, you have to talk about Morgan Rogers. But listen, 2-1 flatters them. If John Duran he's missed that first one. I mean, it's probably too early for him. And they have a lot of chances to crush them. They're playing also that high line, and it's just not working for them because when City is not dominating that midfield, that's when you see, because the high line is good when you have the ball. If you don't have the ball, then that high line is just ineffective, and that's what we see right now. They're just getting overrun, and I mean it's good for the league that we didn't want them to win it again, but I mean just fall is just catastrophic. But
obviously, like you said, there was always going to be a drop off. So like they've won enough, so they're not going to be crying too much over a bad season, let's say. But like I was saying, like we were talking off air about it, like does this tarnish Guardiola's legacy? I know he's been the best. There's no comparison.
Tarnish? I don't know about tarnish, man. The guy just comes from 4 in a row, man. You're allowed.
The question becomes: is it the best right now?
Exactly. You've won 4 in a row, fine. But like we've said all along his career, you've been to the best clubs. You've had money to spend. You've had the best players and all that stuff. Now you're hitting a point where it's tough. Your players are not delivering what they could deliver in the past. Like you said, players are not performing. They're dropping off. You need to do something to get that team going. If you do not find, and it's a big if. It's been they have been terrible, but I think it's been like 12 games. So there's a lot of the season left. We'll see what happens. But if you cannot turn this around and you finish 8th, 9th, 7th, whatever, without buying any players, does this tarnish a little bit that legacy? Does it kind of prove the point that these guys that were able to do it without buckets of money are better than you, even though you did revolutionize football? We know that. We know. But these Ancelottis and these Fergusons that were able to do it without buckets of money and the best players.
I mean, to be fair, Ferguson had a lot of money. Ferguson had the most money in the league. So, I mean, you can't really compare that. Ferguson.
Not starting out.
Yeah, it's not these levels of disparity.
It's not this level. No, it's not this level, obviously, because it's a different era. But Ferguson had the most money in the league for all these years.
Not starting off.
United was the richest club in the world during Ferguson. The richest club
in the early 90s.
Throughout his career, United was either first or second. It was either them or Real Madrid. First or second.
That's not true. In the early 90s, United was not one of the most richest clubs.
Even now, they have the biggest pocket, right? United is
not after winning for 20 years.
United has been the richest club in the world.
That's not true. Not after winning for 20 years, yes. But in the early 90s, late 80s, when Ferguson was there, Liverpool were the dominant force. Liverpool were the
dominant, but they weren't the richest. I'm talking about richest.
Yes, Liverpool was still the richest team. They are the best players. United was not going out. Look at the early years of Ferguson. Was he going out and buying all the best players in England?
You're wrong, mate. You're wrong. You're wrong. Check it.
Are you serious?
Check it. Check in the last 20 years, who has been the richest club in the world right now?
Last 20 years, we're in 2025. Yes, Ferguson started in 1986 at United.
Yeah. Okay.
So
starting out, it wasn't a rich club.
Starting out, we were not the richest club.
But then he got to that level with them and stayed there for a long time.
Yeah, but you were the richest club for a long time at one point, right? So that's what I'm saying. Yes, you were the richest club in the world.
You're not making the difference here. Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, they got to the point where they were the richest club. But at the start, he did not start with them being the richest club. He did not come in and spend 200. Well, obviously it's a different time, but he did not come in and replace half the team with a lot of money like Guardiola was able to do.
Right.
So it got to that point. He built it up.
I don't think that was an argument. I don't think that was an argument. I'm just saying, if you're saying he has a lot of money to change the team, then you can't really say that Fergie didn't have money when he was at the richest club in the world right now. Regardless of how you got there or not, you still have the most money. Fergie was making the most and biggest, he was making the most and biggest transfers every year. I mean, regardless of how you got there, but I mean, I'm just saying that just according to your argument about having money, I think it's just giving a little bit double standards as well. But I mean, I don't even agree with the fact that I don't even agree with the fact that you're saying that he has a lot of money and that's why he got he got so successful. Because at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of managers, that had a lot of money and still didn't, perform. You know what I mean? So it's not just about money. Yes, money helps. Yeah. Money helps. I'm not gonna say the money doesn't help. But I mean, this guy came and he changed the whole city. He changed the whole team. He changed the whole team. So he can build a team. He can build a team, and it's not like he went out and bought maybe apart from like Grealish. It's not like he went out and bought players left, right, 100 million here, 100 million there, 100 million there. He makes some mistakes.
Look, his first season.
Some players that did not come in as superstars.
His first season, he gets there and spends 200 million on fullbacks.
Yeah,
goes out and buys 4 fullbacks and spends 200 million on fullbacks.
What I'm saying is,
there's things like that other managers, and we're not saying he's not a good manager. That's not the argument. We're comparing him to other managers that we're saying are great. That's why we're not comparing him to other managers that were in there, but we're saying he's a great manager, and there's these other great managers, and we're comparing him to them. So that's why we're saying, like, if these other managers, like you're saying, Ferguson was able to, yes, he was able to spend a lot at one point in his career, but for the first 6, maybe 7 years at Man United, they were not going out and buying the best players in the world. That's just not what was going on.
Okay, so they did it for the next 15 years. That's right.
Yes, and he built the club up. I don't see it.
That's the difference here. The point we're making, the point Thierry's trying to make with Pep is that he's had it laid out on the platter for him. When you're thinking about Barcelona, when you're thinking about City, when you're thinking about Bayern, he's had it laid out on his plate. And that happens to managers, but to some it doesn't. Fergie is a bad example for that because this guy really built it up. Like, he started not so great, having money and all of that, and built it up. And with the success he brought to the club, obviously he had the leeway now. And he was more than a manager in this case, right? He was doing a whole lot more than just managing. But when you look at Pep specifically, he comes in, he's the manager, yes, you're the boss and all of that. You have one task, and here's all the money you can ever have in football, Ancelotti, maybe that's a little debatable one, I would say. But Ancelotti, we've seen him go through tough times, like City is going through right now, and come out of it the other way. So it does kind of put Pep in a little backseat now, just looking at those aspects of the arguments specifically.
Yeah, I think it does. I think if he's not, again, it's a big caveat, if he's not able to fix it, if they have to go and spend another 200 million, 300 million for this problem to change, I think it makes him, like, compared to these other greats, again, that's the thing here. We're not comparing him to any old Joe from down the street. Compared to these other greats, like you said, it makes him have to take a little bit of a back seat because he was not able to do it with the players he had when it became problematic for him. He had to go get a new team and go get, again, some of the best players out there for him to fix it. So I think it does make it, again, Pep is revolutionary. He's a genius, whatever. That's true. That's all true. I'm not against that. But I think it does make it look bad on him if he's not able to fix that. Or if, let's say, by the end of the season, he says, oh, I'm done. I cannot fix it. I resign. That, I think things like this can tarnish his legacy a little bit. No, he's not going to become a poor manager because of that, but it will look bad. It will look very bad compared to these other guys that were able to go through tough times. So,
yeah. I agree with you that it will look bad on him if he can't fix it. But as far as tarnishing his legacy, I think that's a little bit much. I don't think his legacy can be.
Oh, your sound cut off. You're muted.
Yeah. That's something we'll have to look, because that's the main story of this current season is City. The downfall they're experiencing so quick and so brutal. Like, one win in 12 is insane. Like, to think about City, and it's not like one win in 12. It's not like you're drawing and you're losing. You're getting smashed.
It's 9 losses in that time as well.
9 losses within those 12 games that you haven't won. you properly getting smashed, and that's so worrying for them, man. You can see Pep.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're back.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pep with no answers.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, finish.
No, we're just gonna say Pep with no answers and just seeing the charges on their head. They have little room to escape this situation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Well, let's just close it up on the City right here, and let's see what they do in January. The more they stay in this slump, I think the better for the league, to be honest. All right, let's move on and let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool, who after a couple of dodgy results, came back with a bang with the massive win against Spurs. This is what I'm gonna say first. I see everybody saying, and maybe rightly so, oh, Liverpool, they're just great. There's just this, there's just that. I didn't see it like that. But I mean, yes, they won the game. They won a game against Spurs. That always looks good. 6-3. That looks like you went to a big team away from home and you went and smash it. And you smash them and everything. But then let's get into it now. For me, Spurs would have lost 6-3 to any decent team out there. They probably would have lost 6-3 to United maybe on that day. Just the way they played. You have a kid back there who's not even like a center back, okay? And you have this what's the other guy? I forget his name all the time.
Dragusin.
Dragusin. He's at best fourth choice in that team, right? At best. You have those two center back. You have Bissouma. I don't know what's happened to him. This guy is just one of the worst midfielder in the league. It's just the way he plays, and he thinks it's all that when he's just getting run over everywhere he goes. But the way he just plays, he thinks like he's just busting it. It's like, no, mate, you're not busting it. You're not busting it at all. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, the tactics that Tottenham employed with the team that they had out there, they just played into Liverpool's hand. And if you're gonna play like that against Salah, against Diaz, against players like that, you're just crying out to be destroyed, especially when you're not playing with your first teamers. Maybe with Romero and Van der Ven, it would have been a little bit different because they can play that a little bit, but not with that kid back there and your maybe third or fourth choice center back. You're just asking to be, and not only that, your second choice keeper, who's the worst keeper, like safely, like Foster, I don't know, just giving gifts left, right, and center. If I was Liverpool, I'll be more worried about the fact that I conceded 3 goals in this game, and 3. I mean, the Maddison goal was an easy goal to concede. Easy goal. Even the Solanke goal, easy goal to concede. I don't know what Van Dijk was doing, just turning his back. I would be more concerned about that than going against a poor, very poor Tottenham team, and smashing them 6-3. A lot of teams would have smashed 6-3 if they played like that, because Postecoglou, he wants to play like this. He will play like this with the Sunday League team. He picks up over at the pub. He will try and play like this and wonder why he got smashed. That's what Postecoglou is. So I mean, this is just my take on it. What do you guys think?
I mean, I hear you on what you're saying. It wasn't like a convincing win, overwhelming dominance from Liverpool. They did leave some gaps there that Tottenham took advantage of,
No, I think it was overwhelming. And convincing.
It was, but the fact that there was still some weaknesses in that, that's what you that's what you're kind of going back on. And I can see that, that's something they're gonna have to look into, to not look vulnerable at any point, because we remember City when they went on their run, they didn't look vulnerable anywhere, and that's how you kind of maintain the level above all the other teams. But I would say though, like for Liverpool, that's what we've seen from them all season. They don't convincingly win sometimes, but they still win. you know, and that's the thing with them. Like, there's no way to beat them. There's nobody has found like a proper way to beat them just yet. So it seems like they're always gonna win, even if it looks ugly, if it doesn't look perfect, you know. I know as an Arsenal fan, you guys like the prettiness, you like the pretty wins and stuff like that. But I would say as well, you know, like when when Man U played against Arsenal, I wasn't convinced with Arsenal's win. You know, I'm thinking a team higher in the table winning against a team that's struggling, you know, over corners. I didn't think that was convincing, but a win is a win. I think they will still take it. But even take it as face value, like they beat Tottenham, a team that's obviously not the greatest, but still can do damage. They beat them convincingly. And as you said, for me, when I watched the game, it was overwhelmingly a beat down, even though they still left some gaps here and there to concede 3 goals, right? So, again, I think Liverpool, they can carry on like this the whole season, and they will be just fine. You know, they will just beat people. Doesn't have to be convincing. Doesn't have to go into first gear. Doesn't have to be, you know, the performance of their lives. They just in the Salah to pop up, Cody Gakpo, Diogo Jota. They got those guys, you know. So I think that's the danger with them, because as I was telling, I was talking here on the podcast before. We haven't seen the first gear. I don't feel like we've seen the first gear, and we know they have something like that. If you feel like when things can come clutch, they can pull up a first gear. And we saw a little bit of that when they got the red. I believe that was last week. They got the red card and they had to draw with Newcastle. They really put out Fulham. They really put out like a next level to their play with one man down. So, yeah, I still feel like, you know, even though they're not convincingly better than everybody or playing better than everybody, they're still the team to beat, you know. So they'll worry about those 3 goals later. For now, they'll take the 3 points and still be leading the charts.
I mean, I don't know. I thought this was very, very, very. At least the last 2 games, I can't remember what the. Actually, not the last, because they beat Southampton in the cup with their second team. But the last 2 Premier League games, I can't remember what the scores before the games before.
Yeah, so there was 3-3 with Newcastle and 2-2 with Fulham.
Okay, 3-3 with Newcastle, 2-2. Oh, yeah, I remember the Newcastle game a little bit. And they weren't that good in that game, to be fair. But I feel like the last 2 games, I don't know if it's them reaching a new level or no. I don't know. We'll have to see. They have been the best team. I mean, we can't deny that. We can say, yes, they haven't been as convincing as maybe you want a champion team to be. But I don't think anybody has come to their level in the league right now. I don't think anybody has played has been as good as them in the league this season. And the last 2 games, I think they've shown that they, like Freddie said, they can reach another level. They have another step that they can take to look even more scary. So, yeah, it would be scary if they did take that step. I mean, this game, yeah, I wouldn't say anybody would have beaten Tottenham 6-3, but I mean, because you can look at the other games. Tottenham usually do play well when they play against a bigger team.
Yeah.
They usually do well. I mean, I think, well, obviously we saw Chelsea and them a couple of weeks ago or something. I think they beat City. Everybody beat City, but I think you guys only beat them 1-0 as well. So they usually do okay against the bigger teams. But
that's what I said. I'm saying on that day, the way Tottenham played on that day against them, I think they would have got smashed by most people if they played like that, because you don't have your main team and you're just playing suicide football like this against a team that have, you know, like wingers like that. You're just playing into their heads. You're just playing exactly how they want you to play. So I'm just saying, if they're playing a team like City, probably they don't get smashed like that, because City they will play more conservative. They'll keep the ball.
That's what they do.
And they don't have any wingers. But if you play a team like Brighton, something like that, Brighton will probably put 4 or 5 past you as well, because of the way they attack and everything like that. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see that. Definitely see that. Definitely, they did play into Liverpool's hands for sure, and you can see sometimes even like I remember like one play where I can't remember who passed it. Joe Gomez passed it to Arnold, on the right, and he literally just took a touch and just lobbed it forward. Like he didn't even look; he just lobbed it forward because he knew they were way too high and they was facing behind. So he just
There's no one there.
and somebody, some Liverpool player was there. I was like, they're really just going for it. But I think the last two games have shown that these guys are by a little margin, a good margin right now, the best team in England. I think even the last game for me shows more their level better than this game because, like you said, Tottenham played into their hands. But the last game against Fulham, man, I didn't watch the full game. I watched the second half. I came in at halftime and I watched that second half. You could not tell that Liverpool had 10 men. Like, I'm sorry. You would think Fulham had 10 men the way Liverpool was playing. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you didn't watch the first half. The first half, Fulham was on them. I mean, yes, they have that. It's Liverpool. You know, they're the kings of comebacks. They're the kings of that. You know, they have an issue of that. I'm just saying, and I agree with you with the fact that you guys are saying that they've been the best in this year. Yes, they've been the best team this year, and the position on the table is testifies that, right? But I'm just saying they're not giving that air of invisibility like City like a couple of years ago. Like when you go there, you know you're already beat. You know, they're not giving you. They can get gotten at. That's what I'm saying. You can get at them and get results. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they have been the best team, yes, but I'm just the way I see it. I just see it. I mean, the way people are gassed about this victory right there. When I'm looking at a poor Tottenham team that was playing, but not to the full because of the injury. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying you can't be gassed about beating Tottenham, man.
Well, I mean, it's a good victory. I'm saying it's a good victory.
Yeah.
But the things that I've seen, I think it's just overreacted. I mean, I'm just saying it's a good victory. You smash Tottenham. Everybody wants to smash Tottenham and laugh at them. You know, if it was Arsenal, I'll be like that too. I'll be like, yo. But I'm just saying when you calm a little bit down and then just look at the actual, goings ons of the game. I'm just saying like it's not a statement victory where you're like, oh, Liverpool, they're here. I think the results against Fulham is more of a statement result than this one, basically. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if
that's why I was saying that the Fulham game was more impressive for me because I just saw them dominate Fulham. I know I didn't watch the first half, but I saw the highlights of the first half. It was pretty even, I thought. But then second half was pretty much mainly Liverpool. And Fulham is a good team. Fulham this year is a good team.
Yeah, very good team. Yeah.
So, like, that was for me.
They drew against us. I think they drew against City as well. And then now Liverpool.
They narrowly lost to City, but they should have won that game.
Right,
yeah. So, Fulham has been doing well. And to see them dominate a Fulham team like that was what impressed me the most. Like, this game is Tottenham. Tottenham just kind of gave them the game. But it's still impressive to the way they dominated the game because Tottenham can be a difficult team to play against.
Yeah, they can be a tough team. They can be a tough team. When they turn out, they can be a tough. But anyway, let's I just want a word on our favorite subject. Ange Postecoglou today is to do, man.
Oh man. I mean, is there even anything else to say?
What is this guy on, man? What is this guy on? Man, I want to smoke what he's smoking, man.
There's not much else to say, man. We say this. It's like the same things on repeat every time. Like he's just naive. Honestly, he's just naive.
You know what that reminds me. You remember when you guys beat us 8-2, and Wenger went out there with Johan Giroud and what's his name, Jenkinson. Players like that in the team, and he was trying to play tiki-taka. And you guys, that game, I don't know if you remember the 8-2, that game, you guys were like, okay, I have the ball. But I know you guys can have dead players. So all we're going to do, we're just going to get a ball from you because we know you can pass it. And you have dead players back there that can't defend. What we're going to do, we're going to leave you, play around with it. And then once we get it, bam, we're just gone, and then we're going. And then that's how you beat us. And that's exactly what Liverpool did to Tottenham there. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Postecoglou, and this is some of the criticism that we had with Wenger towards the end of his career as well. It's like, look at the players you have. I know you have a philosophy. Everybody knows your philosophy. But sometimes, sometimes you look at the players you have, and you have to be humble enough to be like, these guys cannot do it. Let's find another way. Let's find another. Otherwise, you'll get smashed. You will get destroyed. You will get destroyed, and that's just what happened. And this guy, he keeps coming out, keeps saying. I think right now you said it so much that even if he wanted to, he can't go back.
He can go back. Yeah.
So he just have to keep going. And I think that's going to be the undoing of him. He's going to get. I don't think if it carries on like that, I don't think he stays to the end of the year. Of the
I mean, he's going to have to win something. I think the only thing that can appease the.
But again, the best thing that he can win is the Carabao.
That's big for them.
That's going to be huge for them, though. That will buy him.
Do you think they're going to beat Liverpool in 2 legs?
That's the thing. That's
impossible. I don't even see it. Maybe you get a little result at home, but away from home you get smashed. Especially if you play like that. If you play like that, I don't care who you got.
Result.
Yeah.
They're the team to beat in the league. At least they definitely are the team to beat. That's what Arsenal and Chelsea are chasing after. That's what they're chasing after. It will be very interesting to see those head-to-heads going down in the New Year's.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's leave it there with Liverpool and City. And guys, again, let us know if you're a Liverpool fan, if you're a City fan. Let us know in the comment what you think about what we said, and chip in the conversation. Like, share, and subscribe. Feuding Bros. Thank you. Peace out.
Peace out.
Take care.